do the hard things and do the hard things that are going to resonate with your clients and your customers at the deepest level. That might mean getting in front of a camera. That might mean interviewing yourself if you're the owner of the business. That might mean interviewing your clients if you're the SEO agency or a freelancer. Your content creation might take a little bit longer. But in the long run, I think you're going to have a winning strategy. And then this comes back to the takeaway is short-term massive gains in SEO are usually fleeting. And so doing the hard things consistently is what's allowed us to win in our market. We rank at the top for our services in our market, and a lot of our clients rank at the top of Google and ChatGPT for their services in their market. It didn't happen month 2, it didn't happen month 4, but just consistent, deep effort led to those results. Hey there, my name is Joey Randazzo, and this is SEO in 2026 Additional Insights.
Joey, what's your number one SEO tip for 2026?
It is to create truly unique content that cannot be replicated by any of your competitors. Without the use, I think to add a little bit of flavor to that, without the use of mass-generated AI content, which is very, very prevalent today, it's easy to create that content, but doing hard things sometimes pays off a little bit better.
It does indeed, and there's so much to unpack there. The first part of the question, or the answer rather, you gave was talking about truly unique content, and second part, without using mass scale AI. So I guess definitions for both of those areas would be useful to begin with. So what is truly unique content in your eyes?
Yeah, I think the easiest way for me to explain this is through an example, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. So an example that I can use is a chiropractor. And chiropractors, they treat a bunch of different ailments, people with back pain, people with TMJ jaw pain, people with migraines. And truly unique content for a chiropractor, let's say they're creating a landing page targeting someone experiencing migraines. Truly unique content is how we do it, and how anybody can do it is interviewing the doctor and hearing from their perspective how they treat people with migraines. When someone comes in, what questions do they ask? How do they treat them? What's their process? What are some stretches or exercises that they recommend? And then you take that interview, and that's truly unique from the doctor's perspective. Very few doctors are going to do it exactly the way that they're going to do it. And now you can create a landing page that just aligns with whatever the doctor just said about their treatment plan for people who experience migraines. Whereas other folks, mass-generated AI content, they're going to go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm an SEO, specialist. I'm working with a chiropractor who helps people with migraines or TMJ, jaw pain, or back pain, create 27 pages for each of these ailments. And voila, 10 minutes later, they have 27 pages. But the difference there is one is unique from the doctor's perspective, their words coming out of their mouth, and the other is 27 pages created by AI in 10 minutes. So hopefully that gives a little bit of flavor to each of those.
Absolutely. Is there a go-between here? Is there a happy medium where you can perhaps use AI to augment or expand on something that's truly unique?
Absolutely. Yeah. And we do that as well of, you can take that 10-minute interview with the doctor or a 15-minute interview, and you can use tools like Whisper, or you can use a Rev transcription tool. Suddenly you have the transcription, and now you can leverage AI to create that landing page a whole lot faster and, structure it in a way that you ask AI to use the words that came out of the doctor's mouth because you have the transcription in front of you. I think that is the in-between. Or again, as you said, asking for expansion from AI, and then, confirming with your client that that's actually legitimate, because AI might say, oh, we do this type of modality for people who experience migraines. And the doctor goes, I don't do that. Other folks might do that, but I don't do that. So that's the area of, being a little bit cautious when AI expands or tries to come up with extra ideas on its own.
I'm a big fan of what you called in between of conducting interviews. I host lots of different podcast episodes for Majestic, and obviously transcriptions can be produced from that, and blog posts can be produced from that as well. And, the process is very human-centric, but it is based upon completely unique content, authoritative individuals with a unique perspective giving their opinion, and then the rest of the content based upon that. Are you entirely comfortable with that type of approach?
Yeah, and I think there's areas of layering on where it gets even more unique. And so the answer is yes, and the and is in many cases where businesses they're selling a service, a product that has a before and after. And so case studies, again, truly unique, a case study from someone named Steve in Seattle, Washington, who got in a car accident, who can share his story. It can't be replicated by anybody else because that's a unique story with this particular chiropractic practice. And again, you can use AI to use the same formula to, if the client or patient is willing to be featured on your website, you now can interview them, transcribe it, create the case study, ideally get pictures, or you have videos of the before, the person limping down the hallway, and then the after, them sprinting down the hallway, or, whatever crazy before and after you want to see. But that's the additional, you can use AI to create that unique content. That's not just the doctor's perspective, but now the before and after. And the final thought is Google owns YouTube. And in AI overviews, particularly when people ask detailed question-based queries or long-tail queries, Google sometimes features YouTube videos as a source to the answer. So again, now you have the doctor sitting in front of a beautiful background like you have, talking about their approach to treating migraines. Publish that 2-minute video, and then you embed that YouTube video on the migraine landing page on their website that has the unique content, that has the before and after case study of Steve, and has the YouTube video of the doctor. That right there's no doubt in a crawler's mind that is truly unique, not created as AI as the original source. And I think nobody can fight that. It's very hard for other businesses don't want to spend that time to get the before and after of Steve and the case study and film the YouTube video and publish the YouTube video and, create these really detailed landing pages. And so I think it's a strategy that's really hard to lose with. It's difficult to do. It takes time, but it's a strategy that is just really powerful.
There was an old way to describe SEO of being black hat, grey hat, white hat. And I guess this could apply to the production of content and how much AI you use. Where does the line lie when it starts to get grey? What kind of tactics, methods do people start using where you start to question it and you think that's not the right thing to do?
Yeah, I think there's some video tools, for example, that, you use your own avatar and then you write a script using AI and then it has your voice of sorts. And suddenly you've got different videos of you talking about migraines or, back pain. And no one else is going to create that exact video with that exact avatar. But again, I think about it from the user's perspective of, if I'm in pain at 3 a.m. and I need help and I do choose to watch a video, I want it to be the real deal. So it's for crawlers, but it's also for users. Same thing with case studies is we've had so many clients say, hey, can't we just create a kind of generic case study? Because we know we had somebody that we helped. And can't we just say that someone came in with a migraine and after, X number of treatments, they felt better? And it's like, you can, but having that real person and putting in the work to get that real person in photos or videos, like that is truly white hat. And that's truly, if a user watches that or a user lands on that page, there's no question they're going to say, I think this business can help me. And I'm willing to potentially call them and schedule an appointment because I need relief and I need help, or I need more revenue for my business, or I need a better CPA because my CPA is, I'm not saving as much money on taxes that I think I can do. So I think there are some gray hat of you use examples that you have done, but you're not naming the situation at that deep, true level. You're just using the generics of it. And then you're asking AI to maybe fill in the blanks on those generics. I think that's kind of the gray area that we try to stay away from.
That's a great way to put it. So gray area is about a poor user experience. So gray, essentially, search engines will give you an opportunity. They'll trial out your content. They will rank your content initially, but then when the traffic is driven to your site, your landing page, wherever it may be, and there's not strong user signals as a result of that, then it's probably not a long-term strategy.
That's exactly correct.
And obviously the black hat or the no from your perspective is starting off with AI. So it's simply asking AI to research what exists out there already in your particular niche and then just create content to satisfy something
Make up some person named David
There's lots of them.
and explain how he had migraines and how he's feeling better, right? And then go to these image creation sources and create a before and after video of a roof. If you're a roofer, and you can do that. You can create a before and after gallery of fake images. You can create fake video content that you publish on YouTube. It's legitimately published on YouTube, but it's all AI generated. That's the game that people are playing because they think, wow, I can suddenly now create 50 landing pages with photos and videos and all these things, and it's going to rank because it's got content on it. And I think that is incorrect.
Are we not going to be at a stage in 3 or 4 years' time where AI content is going to be largely indistinguishable from real human content?
I think so. And that's why I'm kind of forecasting and making an assumption of, and here's my bet, is that less polished images and videos are going to feel more real, and content that is not perfectly written is going to feel more real. And so, with AI, I can immediately spot landing pages that are AI generated right now, that the copy has this flow to it, that, the landing page has that particular style to it. And, perhaps that's going to change. But I think, again, that's where doing the hard things of, we have other problems on our hand. If someone can make an AI generated video of me and you can't tell a difference at all, then we've got other bigger world issues that we need to face. But that's why, a person creating video content of themselves, maybe not filmed with the most amazing camera in the world, but it feels more real with an iPhone or something, right? Or, pictures from an iPhone of before and after. The words can be generated with AI, but photos and videos, they currently can, but I think those are going to be easier to differentiate and spot. The answer is perhaps it might be indistinguishable. The scary thought in terms of, just the users and consumers of the world being told a story that's not real, right? Someone's selling something that's not legitimate because they can use AI to create that story. And so by proving to users that you actually do what you say you do, where you say you do it, I think figuring out 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now how to do that in the most legitimate way that really proves that it's not created with AI, it's not fake, it's actually a business has done something in a particular place and helped particular people. I think that's going to be the challenge that Google has crawling, that ChatGPT has crawling, and that then the business has to prove to Google and ChatGPT and all these crawlers that, no, we're the real deal. This isn't just, created with AI and not true. This is us actually, we've actually done this before. We've actually helped people before. So hopefully it doesn't really answer your question, but those are my thoughts around it.
So an audience really wants to know the personal experience of someone. If you're going to record a video giving that perspective, giving your point of view, you also want to make sure that it's likely to resonate with that target audience and talk about the things that are of concern to them. How do you research and do your best job to ensure that what you're discussing, what you're sharing is likely to be of appeal to them and assist them down the buyer journey?
Yeah, I think what we do is we just ask our clients who are the subject matter experts, right? And they hear it from clients or customers every day. AI can help do that research, but that doctor that sees 20 patients a day frequently for the same issues, they know what those people are, though they know their deepest, problems. They know that they want to sleep at night, and when their back hurts and they can't sleep, that wrecks their day, right? They know that. I was just in the chiropractor recently, which is why this is all coming up for me. I have a 3-year-old, and my wife's pregnant, and I haven't, as of just a couple of days ago, I've been able to hold my kid again. But for a week after I threw out my back, I couldn't help my pregnant wife hold our child, and those are the pain points that are at the deepest level. And so, asking the chiropractor, asking the CPA, or asking the roofer, or asking whoever your client is, what do you hear over and over and over and over again? And then validate with AI, sure. Say, do they also talk about this problem? Oh yeah, they do talk about that problem. That's a great extra idea. But just making sure that the actual practitioner of whether it's, doesn't matter what type of business it is, that person that's client facing, that hears from the client every day, they're going to know what those deepest problems are. So starting there and then creating the video script that answers each one of those, that's the formula.
I like the story that you shared there, because that was very personal, and that demonstrates that personal bond that you're trying to build with the audience, and hopefully the kind of content that you encourage people, professionals, brands to produce incorporate some of those stories as well. I'm sure it does. And I also like the word that you used in terms of how you go about researching what to write about. Obviously, you talk about conducting real research with a target audience to begin with, but then validating it with AI. So you're not actually using AI to conduct the research to begin with, because obviously AI will see what exists out there already, and they may find gaps in that, but they may not necessarily find that one unknown that doesn't exist. So you're getting that unknown from your target audience to begin with, and then validating that with AI.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's also important to, AI doesn't know the nuances of each business and how they, think about their target audience as well. And so again, I think the whole theme of this conversation is AI is a very powerful tool. You can weave it into processes, you can weave it into content creation, you can weave it into strategy. But this is SEO in 2026. And focusing on that's not the answer. That is not the formula. AI is not it. It's the hard work in doing things that align with the customer on the other end of the screen. That's the starting point. How can you use AI to get there faster, better, more powerfully? Sure. But the hard work of filming videos and getting case studies from clients and getting Google reviews and, AI can assist with that, but that is the tool. That is not the strategy and the formula. Whereas I've heard so many times, AI does SEO. No. AI runs my SEO strategy. AI is my SEO strategy. That's the problem that I've been seeing over and over again.
Joey, what's the key takeaway from the tip you shared today?
The key takeaway is do the hard things, and do the hard things that are going to resonate with your clients and your customers at the deepest level. That might mean getting in front of a camera. That might mean interviewing yourself if you're the owner of the business. That might mean interviewing your clients if you're the SEO agency or freelancer. Your content creation might take a little bit longer, but in the long run, I think you're going to have a winning strategy. And then this comes back to the takeaway is short-term massive gains in SEO are usually fleeting. And so doing the hard things consistently is what's allowed us to win in our market. We rank at the top for our services in our market, and a lot of our clients rank at the top of Google and ChatGPT for their services in their market. It didn't happen month 2, it didn't happen month 4, but just consistent, deep effort led to those results.
Joey Randazzo is owner at SEO Growth Partners. Find out more over at portlandseogrowth.com. Joey, thanks so much for being part of SEO in 2026.
Thanks so much.
I've been your host, David Bain. Get your copy of SEO in 2026, the book, over at seoin2026.com.